Welcome back to Destination Pro Wrestling. In this video, we have a major update. Braun Strowman to Impact Wrestling, big question mark, a lot more details now within time. Also, Buddy Murphy has been confirmed for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Why do I still believe he will debut at Bound for Glory? And then also we have some pretty interesting news with Max Caster responding to Top Dolla. Guys, for more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button. But let's kick things off with Max Caster. So if you guys are unfamiliar, Max Caster, part of the Acclaimed, after Saturday Night Dynamite, he grabbed the mic, he started dropping a diss in response to Top Dolla. He talked about AEW smoking the NXT brand in ratings. And then on top of that, he took his shot at Top Dolla, directly using his name. And to be honest with you, I thought this was actually really funny. This was literally just a day after Top Dolla dropped his freestyle diss. And this is what the wrestling war has come to, my friends. You know, it's all about the ratings and all that good stuff. But in this video, we are focusing on a rap diss because we got some rap beef happening between both guys. Now, the real question is this it? You know, I think it adds a different layer to wrestling wars, most definitely. Max Caster, you know, a lot of people on Twitter thought his rhymes were weak in comparison to Top Dolla's, but nonetheless, it's part of his gimmick. It's part of his shtick, his whole thing that he's got going on. I mean, it definitely got a response. So did Top Dolla. So I'm curious to see what this actually leads to next. I think it is kind of silly, but at the end of the day, it is, you know, it's a wrestling war. So, you know, it's not just going to be about storylines. I think the more that this type of stuff happens, the more grittier, the more negative it can get. And, you know, hey, if that's what happens, that's what happens. I think that's going to get people talking, which ultimately that's going to be pretty important for AEW and WWE, let alone two guys. You know, if we're just being honest, Max Caster is not the biggest star in AEW. Top Dolla is definitely not the biggest star on SmackDown. But I think these two guys have a little bit of a character where they can actually incorporate more rapping. The real question is whether or not Hit Row and Top Dolla do something like this on SmackDown, because that would be WWE truly acknowledging the war against AEW. I want to know what you guys think too with something like this. You know, if Max Caster's dropping raps and you got, you know, he's dropping the bars and so is Top Dolla, like, what do you think this leads to? Does this lead to anything? Are we going to see more of this on TV? That type of thing, because I think that's a really important question. You know, I think, like I said, it's just kind of silly in general, but I think it adds a different layer to the wrestling war, and that is something that both companies need. So, you know, if both of these guys could come correct with the bars, you never know what it leads to. And I think that's something that's really intriguing. I don't recall WCW and WWE having like rap battles or anything, but hey, Top Dolla has been going off on Twitter. He's been trending. Max Caster has been going off on Twitter, and he's trending with this. So as you can imagine, it's getting people talking, and I think that's exactly what they're looking for. On our next story of the day, we're going to talk a little bit about Braun Strowman. It was reported that he had a meeting today in Detroit with Scott D'Amore, and it took place after Motor City Comic Con. And basically what's being said is that they were seen talking for hours. Looks like they've been talking about contracts and stuff like that. There's obviously plans for Braun Strowman in Impact Wrestling if he chooses to sign there. We've been talking about this for a while, that AEW may not actually sign Braun Strowman, and Impact might be the likely destination. If Braun Strowman does in fact go to Impact, I think Impact does a really, really good job with the big guys that they have on their roster. The problem with Impact is, you know, their show only gets around 100,000 viewers, which it is slightly a problem because a lot less eyes are on the product. Now, I am hoping for Impact Wrestling with somebody like Braun Strowman coming in. I'm hoping that this gives them more viewers. More viewers means, you know, the potential for a better TV deal, maybe even better production. Some of the things that I think we've all kind of criticized Impact with. You know, Braun Strowman, I think, definitely fits in Impact Wrestling. I think he should go to Impact Wrestling. I think he could be one of the marquee names in Impact Wrestling. I'm very interested to see what Impact kind of, you know, offers him, what kind of deal he gets, because obviously AEW and WWE have the most money. But of course, you know, Impact Wrestling definitely has money too. It's just they're a lot smaller of a company. But again, this could be a major signing for them. So, if he does in fact go to Impact, I'm very interested to see how the metrics for the business change. I'm interested to see what happens. I fully expect Braun Strowman to debut at Bound for Glory. Somewhat of like the internet joke right now is Braun for Glory. So, we'll kind of see what happens there. I just absolutely hope that his name is not Titan. Very interesting stuff, though. And by the way, there is another potential debut for Bound for Glory, and that is Buddy Murphy. So if you guys didn't know, Buddy Murphy, now known as Buddy Matthews, he is expected to debut in San Jose with New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, and they aired the official vignette last night. And look, NJPW obviously bringing him in, it makes a lot of sense. Will Ospreay tweeted about Buddy Murphy going to NJPW at some point, but there's something that a lot of people seem to ignore here ever since this news dropped, and that is the Forbidden Door. A lot of people in Impact Wrestling have been competing on NJPW Strong. We've seen Chris Bay, TJP, and many others, Josh Alexander, and the list continues. So one thing I fully expect to happen here is Buddy Murphy actually going to both NJPW and Impact Wrestling. There is no news on whether or not he signed an exclusive deal with New Japan, but I fully believe Buddy Murphy will in fact debut at Bound for Glory. And I think Bound for Glory is going to be a major pay-per-view for Impact Wrestling this year. So this could be really, really good news for the company. Buddy Murphy going to New Japan could be really good because obviously there are a lot of key matchups that I think we would all love to see. And, again, we go back to that Forbidden Door conversation. So don't forget about the possibility of Buddy Murphy even ending up in AEW, despite the fact that they actually turned away from that opportunity. So, we know Buddy Murphy is going to be in NJPW. There is a strong belief he will be going to Impact as well, maybe between both companies. I could even see Buddy Murphy doing MLW. I could see him in ROH. I think he's going to be one of those independent guys that is on television. I think we could see him maybe doing a open challenge for the TNT Championship at some point. I think there's a lot of opportunity for Buddy Murphy going forward. The real question is, what do they do with him and where does he physically sign? Because having an agreement to work NJPW doesn't necessarily mean he's exclusive. And that right there is what the major belief is, which is totally cool. Let's get some fresh matchups for those guys in Japan. Let's get some fresh matchups for the guys in Impact. And this way, this guy could be utilized across both. Somebody even mentioned the possibility of him doing GCW, which I would find very, very interesting, especially because GCW just announced that they have a new promotion called LA Fights, which is in California. So a lot of possibilities for the guy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time right here on DPW.